Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's Mobile Cause webinar, Create Recurring Donors from Year-End Giving Campaigns. Today's informative webinar will arm you with a new approach to your year-end campaign, or any campaign for that matter, to create a long-lasting impact for your cause. We will dive deep into why recurring giving is so important to your organization and the significance of establishing and promoting long-term recurring giving programs that create predictable revenue. We'll cover strategies to establish and inspire monthly giving, how to cultivate long-term donor relationships, and tools that make recurring giving campaigns easier and more successful. We'll also share examples from nonprofits like yours who have successfully turned one-time donors into monthly and lifelong supporters. This is going to be an exciting and educational discussion to help kick off your year-end giving and 2021 fundraising. Now, before we get started, please know we welcome your participation and are here to answer your questions. Be sure to submit them into the questions box on your GoToWebinar control panel. We have fundraising experts behind the scenes to answer questions during the webinar, and at the end, we will hold an open Q&A session with our presenters for any additional questions. We hope you enjoy today's presentation, and as a quick reminder, we will be sending out the recording and the slides to all our registrants afterwards. All right, so today's webinar is presented by MobileCause, and MobileCause understands the everyday challenges nonprofits face, constantly confronted with limited resources, yet still expected to expand your impact. You shouldn't have to face these challenges alone, and that's why MobileCause offers more than comprehensive fundraising software. We also provide one-on-one strategy from dedicated fundraising specialists and have the industry's best support team ready to provide assistance 24/7. At MobileCause, we're just as committed to your cause as you are, and together we can grow your nonprofit like never before. Now, let me introduce you to today's fantastic presenters. Jennifer Yarbrough is President and CEO of JY Consulting. For 30 years, she has worked for and with a variety of nonprofits as a grant writer, fundraiser, coach, strategic planner, in program development, organizational assessment, as a facilitator, a trainer, and a mentor. She has helped nonprofits of all sizes in 47 US states, Thailand, Canada, to raise hundreds of millions of dollars through major gifts and capital campaigns, board development, annual fund campaigns, direct mail, and planned gift solicitations. Lindsay Himple is a digital fundraising strategist with MobileCause, where she works one-on-one with nonprofits to maximize their fundraising campaign success. She creates and sets up campaigns, provides fundraising and donor engagement strategies, and creates supportive communication and promotional tools. Lindsay's work has enabled hundreds of MobileCause customers to successfully accelerate and increase their fundraising and engagement efforts. Now, I'm Scott Couchman, the training manager here at MobileCause, and today our agenda is chock full of expert strategies, insider insights, and useful takeaways for your recurring giving campaigns. First, we'll hear from Jennifer Yarbrough on the 3 C's of recurring giving and 7 strategies for turning year-end donors into recurring givers. Then we'll hear from Lindsay on how real-world nonprofits have implemented recurring giving programs to produce impressive results. All right, now before we begin discussing create recurring donors from year-end giving campaigns, we do have a quick poll question for everyone. So let me go ahead and launch this poll, and sometimes it takes a second or two, so I'll go ahead and read it for you. How big a part does creating recurring donors play in your annual fundraising campaigns? The first choice is huge. We're always encouraging recurring giving. 2, it's important. We have at least one recurring giving campaign. 3, somewhat. Recurring giving is an option, but not a focus. And 4, not very. We'd like to make it a bigger part of our planning. So go ahead and answer those questions, and let's see what our results are. Give it a few more seconds here. All right, looks like we are slowing down. So let me go ahead and stop the poll here, and let's share those results. All right. Well, it's just interesting to see where all of you are in incorporating your recurring giving into your campaigns, and it looks like many of you can benefit from including more monthly giving programs into your fundraising. Now, wherever you land on this poll, good news. Our webinar today will have some useful strategies and ideas for you to start applying to your fundraising right away. So let's dive in. So join me in welcoming Jennifer Yarbrough to start us off by sharing her insights into recurring giving. Let me give control over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Scott. I appreciate you, and thank you everyone for joining in. So my job today is to talk about the importance of reoccurring gifts. One of the things that I know to be really relevant in the world of nonprofits is to have that ongoing funding, right? The year after year funding. Reoccurring gives us an opportunity to set programs, to set policies, and to really expand our vision, expand our program potential by focusing on these individuals who elect to give to your organization on a regular basis. It's important to also note that the lifetime of this type of donor, this value, according to statistics, is 440% more over a lifetime than the one-time donor. Having worked in the nonprofit world for so long and been a fundraiser myself, getting that first gift is amazing. And then doing the work and the strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you to get that ongoing gift, that second gift, that third gift, that then turns into the monthly giver, the annual giver. These are the people who are connected, who are impassioned just like you, and want to see your program succeed. And so you give them the opportunity to become that reoccurring giver. Now, how do you use or invite these individuals to have that option? Let me say this: donors don't know that the need for their support is there unless you share with them, unless you tell them. And so you give them those options. You give those options through pages, you give those options through storytelling and letting them know how they can be a part of and involved with your ongoing success. I am a firm believer that people give because of what they feel is important. So you're giving them a choice to be a part of ongoing work that they feel is important. Again, giving is an emotional aspect. It's not really a logical thing. And so you are telling a story, you're giving them evidence, you're sharing them the value of what's important to them. They give because of what's important to them. So giving them that choice is really, really important. The way that they support you in this reoccurring effort, growing in the interest, the engagement, right? It gives you an opportunity to engage them on a different level. It also grows your budget. The more people that give, that's how your budget grows. So that sustainable strategy thinking, that managing their support, it has to be a part of your system, knowing how to thank them, knowing when to thank them, and letting them know what you are doing with the funds is so important. You need to set an amount every single month that you want to raise. I always say that budget is like a roadmap. It is like a predictor of funding. Setting the budget, knowing what goes into growing that budget, and then engaging those donors in a meaningful way so that they can be a part of it is so important. Now, create recurring donors for your year-end campaign. Here we are coming into the last month. I can tell you that between October to November, organizations can raise anywhere between 40 to 70% of their budget. And so connecting with your donors during this time is so important. How do you connect with them? You share with them right now your program mission and how you solved your problem. Organizations are created to solve a problem. So now you're letting your donors, what problems were you able to solve? You're letting them know what's at stake, and what you have been able to accomplish through their support, with their support, and what has changed. Changing and sharing that change rather, is what shows them the value that you have as an organization of being a change agent. We as nonprofit organizations, we are change agents. We provide solution. Our missions matter. And so we want to connect with our donors in a very real way on that value, on that level. I believe that we attract people using 3 C's. What's the 3 C's? Connection, concern, capacity. Connection. People give to who they are connected to. I want you to now begin to think about, how are you connecting with your donors? Are you connecting with them through experience? Are you connecting with them through a common cause or a problem that they too see as important? Once you've connected with them, now we're talking about the concern. How and what do they know about your organization addressing this concern that's in the community? We are community-based organizations. So the problems that you solve through your program is one way, but the concern from the donor, because they're not in your program, they're not seeing the participants in the same way that you are. So you've got to connect with them around a common concern, sharing them, letting them know, assuring them that you are addressing their concern. And then we talk about capacity. Capacity is money, capacity is resource, capacity is relationship. And how you now go from hello, my name is, and go straight to capacity, that might get you a one-time gift. But you definitely want to be thinking about, how can I deepen the connection, assure them that you're meeting and addressing the mutual concern. And then the capacity is going to be the conversation of, how can I help? What can I do to help you be successful in continuing to do the work that you do? All right. So these are some of the strategies that I want you all to take note of, and you can begin to implement these things right away. The first is saying thank you, right? We all know that we should say thank you. That's common and that's courtesy. But your donors really appreciate and are moved by the thank you, regardless of the size of the donation, making sure that you are showing them, sharing with them how much you appreciate them. I have a thing where I say, thank them in 7 different ways, all right? Thanking your donors encourages them to continue to give. They are so, they're not viewed or think of themselves as walking wallets, right? So thank you is an important strategy. Beyond the first thank you, thank them again. Thank them by telling a story. Thank them by sharing what their gift was able to do, all right? So saying thank you is really important. Number 2, make sure that you have the systems and the technology in place, okay? That once you know how much a person has given, thank them for that gift amount. Let them know what it is that you were able to do with that gift, and then have that system in place to trigger the next conversation, the next connection. Okay, so those systems, that technology, those reminders are going to be really key so that you can stay top of mind. Your donors want to hear from you. They want to know what their gifts are doing and how they're helping to change and transform lives. So having a system that reminds you, now it's time to touch the donor. Now it's time to remind them of the great work that they are supporting, and for you to show how important that work is. Okay, let's see. I got behind. Okay, the technology. Number 3, showcase the impact of your donations. Okay, when a donor knows how their gift makes a difference, that triggers them to say, that is awesome, and I've been a part of that. I was a part of that. So make that second touch intentional, makes a third touch relational, and make sure that you are sharing and showing the value. 98% of the people give because of impact, not activity. Impact, not activity. What is impact? Impact is the change. Impact is the difference that you've been able to make, right? So the more that you share the impact, the more likely that they are to give. If you don't remember anything else, 98% of your donors give because of impact. So sharing that impact shows them the value of what you do and the value of what they are supporting. Number four, bring awareness of your giving program. They don't know if you don't tell them, right? They don't know how to be a part. They don't know what ways that they can give, or even the levels or the need, or even the amount that is needed to help you to grow your program, to deepen your program, right? So bringing awareness to your program is really key. How are you articulating that? Being consistent in driving the program opportunity and options, and promoting it on all of your platforms, using it as a call to action. Listen, a vague ask gets a vague response. A vague ask gets a vague response. And your donors, again, are supporting you because they believe in the work that you do. So give them an opportunity to be successful through you, all right? To be successful through you. And then you're using your storytelling. You all have testimonials, you have stories of change, you have stories of impact. That lets them know that what they're investing in is really making a difference. And giving is just a human instinct. People give to people, all right? People give to people. So while you have these reminders, you're inviting, you're engaging, you are inspiring people to see the value in what you do. You're not bothering them. In fact, you're sharing good news. God knows we need that right about now. So let them know visually, informationally, using all of your platforms to share stories. And that will inspire, encourage, motivate your donor base to grow and to want to continue to give to you on an ongoing basis. Number six is you want to have ways to engage your donors so that they can see what you are doing up close. You can engage them through volunteer opportunities. You can engage them through stories. You can engage them through meetings. Thank you won't be enough, but you want to take them to that next place to where they can see, show them, engage them, invite them. Many of them may not come, but they will definitely appreciate the invitation. And so the closer you show them how your organization is really changing and transforming lives in in your community, you will rise above the noise and the chatter and be seen as a pillar of light. I always say your mission matters. Your mission of changing lives, transforming lives, making a difference in the community, it matters. But it matters to those so much so that you want to share it. Share it on a regular basis. And engage your donors in how they can be a part. Don't just ask them to give a backpack. Ask them to come and give away the backpacks with you, right? Don't just ask them to do something, but be involved in it so that they can see the work up close. Show your donors that you value them beyond the checkbook, all right? And again, saying thank you is important, but using the shout outs, using social media, organizing events, meeting them face to face, having your board and other volunteers express the value of what your work has been able to do because of them. Show your donors that you value them, and they will feel a part of the organization. They will feel a part of the change, and they will become evangelists on behalf of your organization. They will talk about the experience that they have of giving to your organization, the enthusiasm that they have in hearing from you. And they also will give you feedback. That feedback is so valuable that you can share with others. Listen, reoccurring giving is an amazing opportunity that we have, particularly right now. And if you have not yet started thinking strategically about that, just do the things that I shared with you right now. Start doing those right now. You can begin sending out your thank you letters. You can begin to put down a calendar of opportunities of stories, sharing stories on your Facebook, sharing stories on your other social media platforms, sharing articles and videos to show that the work that you're doing right now is the time. Year-end giving is the best time to inform, to invite, to engage individuals more so now. What does that do? It helps set you up to go into 2021 with that relationship intact, growing it further so that your budget can grow and your relationships can grow. Let me say this. Donors have a name. All right. Your budget is created by those names of individuals that you are building relationship with to give them an opportunity to give to a cause that is life changing and life transforming. That's what you are. You are a part of amazing change. Your mission matters. And the more people that know about what you do, see the value in what you do, are engaged in what you do, would want to continue to give to what you do. All right. So now is the time to begin to incorporate recurring giving as a strategy to stabilize your funding, grow your organization, and put you in a position to be sustainable as a nonprofit organization going beyond 2021, but much further than that. It also gives you an opportunity to plan how to grow and to build your staff, expand your program. So now is the right time. You're in the right position, and do these right activities, and you'll definitely get the right result. Thank you so much. Scott, I'm turning it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Jennifer, for your inspiration and your insider look at creating a powerful recurring giving campaign that generates reliable revenue. Now, as a quick reminder, if you have any questions, you can submit them into the question box on your control panel as we go along. And now, let's hear from Lindsay Himple on how nonprofits have implemented tools and promotional strategies to create successful campaigns that make an impact to their organizations and beneficiaries. Over to you, Lindsay.
Thanks, Scott, and hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining us today. As Scott mentioned, I'll be sharing some more strategies and ways to implement tools for your recurring giving campaigns, as well as sharing some case studies from other nonprofits on some successful recurring giving campaigns. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. One of the first things you'll want to do to boost your recurring giving is make sure that your online donation form is optimized for recurring giving. And what better way to do that than setting recurring as the default gift type? So this will hopefully eliminate one of the steps for your donors by defaulting their gift to recurring and making it really easy for them to move forward with their gift. So you'll notice on the slide an example of that, how monthly is set to default, and you can leave the other options open as well, but really suggesting and making that easy as a step for donors when they first hit your donation form. Now, another tip is to make sure that the option to make a recurring gift is available on all of your donation pages. So someone has the opportunity to give recurring no matter what type of event or campaign you have going on. Give people that option, no reason to limit it. So whenever you can, enable that. Another strategy to keep in mind is to lower your suggested donation amount when the default gift type is recurring. So the reason behind this is that new donors need time to develop a deeper connection to your organization before committing to a larger donation amount. However, you may have a better opportunity in capturing a recurring donor with a smaller initial gift rather than a larger one. So once you capture that recurring donor, you can potentially cultivate them into a larger donor, which we can talk a little bit about later too. But it's best to start off with a lower suggested donation amount. Just keeping in mind, it's better to get $120 over the year rather than $20 at once. All right. Another way that you can optimize your giving form to encourage recurring giving is to add a smart pop-up that encourages those who initiate a one-time donation to essentially upgrade into a monthly gift. So if you have this capability within the smart pop-up, you can explain the value of a recurring gift with some suggested language and suggest a recurring gift amount, which typically falls about 60% of their one-time donation. And 60% is just kind of generally a good amount to suggest because it's lower than the amount they would usually feel comfortable giving at a monthly time schedule. And ultimately, it would result in a larger gift over time. So that's the reason behind the 60%. Including a prompt like this can increase your number of recurring donors up to 64%. Only about 14% of nonprofits use one. So if you have this option, definitely turn it on. You can see from the example over here on the left-hand side, an example of the smart pop-up that appears within MobileCause. And here you'll see the explanation, the language that someone, the nonprofit has to explain a little bit more about why someone should give a monthly gift, as well as a big button to give them the option to commit to recurring instead. So if you have it, turn it on and make sure it's really easy for your donors to switch over into a recurring gift. Another strategy we can think about to capture new recurring donors is to create a membership program or some type of monthly or annual membership option. By nature, this type of membership program is essentially recurring giving on its own. And as part of your program, you can provide special incentives, status, or inclusions for your members. For example, you could provide members exclusive content, insights, rewards, discounts as added incentives of signing up with the program. One organization I worked with offered a specially designed hoodie for those that ended up becoming a member. So they designed it specifically for members only, and a fun gift that they sent out to those who ended up signing up at a monthly level. As part of your membership program, you can establish various levels with different giving amounts and perks for each one of those levels to not only provide those entry level lower donation amounts for new donors, but also offer perks for existing supporters to potentially encourage them to give at a higher level, or if they're a one-time donor, using those perks to potentially convert them to recurring. If you're implementing a membership program, be sure to demonstrate the benefits to your audiences, including your existing donor database. And a good way to do that is to have the information included directly on the membership form for what benefits they may receive as part of becoming a member. And even though there are perks in it for the members, don't forget to continue to use that motivating, inspirational, emotional language to still demonstrate the real impact a member is having by signing up and committing at those certain levels. So that will still remain a very important part of a membership program. All right. We talked about some strategies in capturing those recurring donors, but you'll also want to consider how you can scale your recurring giving program. One idea is to develop an automated new donor welcome series to cultivate the relationships with your new donors. These donors have just made a great commitment to your organization, so consider sending them some special type of communications to introduce them more deeply into your organization and build a stronger connection with them. You can consider creating a segment in your database of all of your monthly donors specifically for targeted communications moving forward. To those donors, you may consider sending special recognitions to them. You may even go a little further and segment by gift level to send more segmented messages to larger donors, medium, small donors, and anywhere where you can continue to demonstrate that impact that these donors have had because of their gift, be sure to do that. You want to share that with them. Sharing the evidence of their gift with them just helps to build that trust, that deeper connection, and really build out your relationship with your donors so they're invested and could potentially later lead into increased giving. Another thing to keep in mind is launch your campaigns with a goal of generating more monthly donors and not necessarily the amount raised. So you can be transparent with your goals. If you're looking for recurring donors, launch with those goals and be transparent in the way that you are reaching up towards those. If you're having monthly donors, celebrate that, give recognition to those who have signed up. And do that instead and track that instead of tracking the amount and monetary goals. Also, if you can automate reminders of expired credit cards to maintain recurring donors, it'll just help them keep their payments updated and allow them to continue giving. And also, if you're thinking about scaling your recurring giving program, be sure to think about how you can develop strategies to upgrade existing one-time donors into monthly donors. And one way to do that is to create a communication plan by donor segment. So looking at this chart here, you can consider how to communicate to your donors by the type of donor they are. For example, on the chart, you'll see different paths for existing donors, new recurring donors or members, and new one-time donors. Now you'll notice some of the communications within the chart, they may be the same across the board for all the different types of donors. For example, you'll want to send anyone who gives a nice personalized thank you email or note. But then you may segment your communications further. So for existing donors, you may consider sending a postcard of an impact story, something they could have potentially helped with because of their donation. For new recurring donors, you can send a welcome packet, something special to give them a fuller picture of your organization, how they might be helping because of their support, and any membership benefits, if any. And for a new one-time donor, you can give them an introduction to your organization, a full introduction. So they may have been a new donor from a very inspiring post or because a friend asked. So be sure to give them that full introduction to your organization, what you do, who you help, why you benefit, and just keep that line of communication open with them. Creating a unique communication sequence for each donor segment can really help to encourage sustained giving from donor type. So really think about the different types of donor groups that you are currently communicating with and how you can talk to them a little bit more specifically. All right, so we've explored some different strategies for capturing recurring donors. And now let's take a look at a few other nonprofit organizations that have had some success in their recurring campaigns. So campaigns in action. The first example I'd like to share is Feeding America Riverside San Bernardino. So this organization, this year, recurring giving became so important to them. So they implemented a recurring giving campaign to encourage new recurring donors, and they embedded their monthly giving form on their website in April. Now, this form includes impact metrics of a donor's gift. You'll see on the slide there how they were really transparent with everything and detailed out what each level of giving really ultimately meant. Now, they promoted this giving form through email and some social media. They shared out their text to donate keyword to encourage people to text in to donate, as well as sharing the link directly to their website through their different communication channels. They also sent out text messages and email reminders for failed recurring payments to give donors the option to easily continue and update their gifts if their payments had previously failed. Now, as a result, from active monthly donors since April, they've raised a total of $38,500 and captured 150 recurring donors. From these recurring donors, they're seeing an average monthly gift of $48. Now, Feeding America expressed that it was extremely important to be able to connect with their donors online via text and email, mostly not only because it gives them the option to give and commit to this recurring level, but also having the ability for people to update their credit cards for failed payments was a really important part of the success of their campaign. Now, that next organization I'd like to take a look at is the Mona Foundation. So the Mona Foundation launched their first monthly campaign in March and April of this year. The campaign was initially established for a specific project to support the building and staffing of one-room schools in India, but now it has become an ongoing campaign to focus on different elements of what they're looking to do in different programs. So this organization promoted their campaign by sending emails to their donor database. They also sent targeted emails to their board members of each chapter, encouraging them to support a student for only $7 a month. So very specific in the ask that they had. And every other month, the organization sends emails highlighting a different program now that they're fundraising for at the time. And they'll share information about the new program and the impact of that program on their event page. So supporters are able to visit the event page for a brief overview that potentially would have videos and language and impact metrics to explain more about the latest program. And as we mentioned earlier and during kind of the best practices and strategy, every donation form of theirs has a monthly giving option, so making it really easy for people to commit at that monthly level. As a result of their campaign, the Mona Foundation has been able to raise $48,365, capture 170 recurring donors, and see an average gift of $59. And they've seen average months of giving at 5. And keep in mind, both of these last 2 campaigns that we looked at, they are campaigns that launched this year. So campaigns that have not necessarily run very long, but have seen a significant return within the last few months. This last example I'd like to take a look at is the Peaceful Valley Donkey Rescue. Now, this organization incorporates a very personal fundraising style by keeping in touch with their donors regularly. They have a regular schedule of sending about 3 to 4 emails almost every month to keep up and in communication with their donors. So one of the emails they send out per month is specifically to encourage recurring giving. And they have it in place. If someone doesn't open that email, they make a plan to resend that email to them. So they're very specific in the way that they look at their email analytics, their open rates, to target those who didn't open previous emails and make sure they get a little reminder there. Another one of their planned monthly emails, they send a specific ask, a special ask once a month, which usually focuses on a more specific project. And they have suggested donation amounts based on donor ability and history. So they really take in mind the donor segment and the type of donor that they're communicating with and reach out to them and specify their communications as they are presenting that ask for the special project. They also make a plan to send an email at least once a month without an ask to really just send those thank yous, updates, celebrate any recent successes, and of course, send out cute pictures of donkeys. Now for their recurring giving, they also promote it in direct mail and social media. So all taking a multi-channel approach into how they are communicating out their options for giving. And they're sure to send a lot of thank yous to their donors. So they have lots of follow-up communications, of course, more cute donkey photos, and they have handwritten cards for larger donors that they send out to thank them for some of those larger levels. From their recurring donation efforts, over time, they've raised over $1.1 million. They've captured 2,210 recurring donors and seen an average monthly gift size of $37. And they've had donors giving on an average of 13 months. Now, this organization has run their recurring giving campaign for longer than the other 2 organizations, and they have had some very targeted and frequent communications to capture and cultivate recurring donors and really keep them involved with their organization. I think that these numbers are really important to look at because you'll notice the average gift may seem a little bit low at $37 average recurring gift. But over time, with large number of donors and them giving on a consistent basis, this could add up very, very quickly. So even though it might be that lower suggested amount that we refer to with best practices, this could ultimately end up to be a very successful type of campaign. And just as I wrap things up here, don't forget to keep in mind the strategies that we discussed earlier, making sure that your donation tools, your donation forms are all optimized to make things as easy as possible for donors to make recurring gifts. Ultimately, we want to provide the path of least resistance for donors to give, and in this instance, give a recurring gift. So be sure to include those smart pop-ups and make recurring as the default gift to make that easy for them. And also to communicate with your supporters frequently. So whether it's potentially new donors, existing, one-time, recurring donors, segment your communications where possible, but really keep your supporters in the loop so that you can continue to cultivate them so that they're either encouraged to commit to a recurring gift or continue their recurring gift as a supporter of your organization. And with that, I'm going to pass things back over to Scott.
Thank you, Lindsay, for sharing your knowledge with us today. And I know it probably sparked a lot of great ideas getting people started with recurring giving. And I hope this will help a lot of people in their upcoming fundraising campaigns. Thank you again to both Jennifer and Lindsay for sharing your insights and expertise with everyone here. We hope you are all looking forward to incorporating these recurring giving strategies into your own fundraising campaigns so you too can achieve outstanding results. All right, now before we go ahead and jump into our Q&A, we want to ask a quick question here. So let me go ahead and launch the poll here. Just a quick one. Are you interested in learning more? And our choices are, would you like one-on-one consultation with MobileCause? Would you be like more information on MobileCause software? Or would you also like to learn more about JY Consulting? So let's get those questions in there. And again, we do have a live Q&A coming up right now, and send those questions in so we can get answers from our panelists. All right, got some great questions coming in, and good fair. All right, let's go ahead and close that poll, and let's take a look at our Q&A. All right, so let's see. First question. Make sure I get them in here. All right, so the first question is for Jennifer. This one comes from Linda. Do recurring donors often give a one-time year-end gift in addition to a monthly gift?
That is a great question. And the answer to that is yes. Now let's remember, why are people giving? They're giving because they believe in your work, right? Their capacity to give is totally up to them. It's not something for us to gauge or even try to guess, but we want to give them an opportunity to be a part of, to be involved in, to be engaged in any way that they choose. So you give them the option, and many will see that at this time they may have an extra resource, they may have extra funds, and they want to continue to support a work that they believe in. So it's not so much about the money. It really is about the relationship. It's about the capacity of growing something that they give to, that they care about. Yes, they will give on a monthly basis, and they will also give in that year-end giving ask. So I always say, give them many ways to give, but also give them more reasons to show or to see how their giving has helped your organization. All right. So the giving, yes, but then you want to give as well. You are giving to your donors the reason, the motivation, the inspiration to continue to give. I hope I answered that question clearly for you. But the answer simply is yes.
Okay, great. So similar to this one here for Lindsay, is it better to have different giving forms for one-time and monthly giving, or separate forms? Or separate forms or the same form? Sorry.
Gotcha. Great question, Scott. And I think we touched upon this a little bit too during the presentation. It's whatever form that you're having, you'll want to make sure recurring is an option. So really make that option available to everyone in every giving scenario. However, you'll want to have, especially if you're doing a very targeted recurring giving campaign, have a form that is specific to that. So a form that you can default recurring as the gift type, a form that may have those lower donation amounts for people to feel comfortable entering in as a or committing to a recurring gift level at a lower amount, and then potentially a form that would allow you to bring in the impact metrics that you are sharing because and the impact that someone has because they are committing to those certain levels. So kind of to summarize, make sure that recurring giving is an option everywhere, but for your recurring giving campaign, be sure to implement those other specific items to optimize your recurring giving campaign.
All right, great. Okay, so next question here is for Jennifer. This one comes from Kristen. Would you mention when asking people to be a monthly giver that they help our foundation create sustainability?
I wouldn't use the word sustainability. I would use that they're enabling the organization or allowing the organization to serve more people in need. So they're giving to solve a problem. Your organization is that. Keep it around the impact. Again, 98% give because of impact. That then is going to lead to the sustainability. So focusing on your goals, your campaigns are in place to ensure that you're able to serve as many people possible. With more resource means your program can grow, more people's needs can be met. And so keep it around the impact, the value, the ongoing success of your program, and that will be what motivates them to continue to give.
All right, great. So next one here is also for Jennifer. This one comes from Caroline. My organization receives most of our funding from a few donors who donate 10,000 plus annually. How can we push these people to monthly or quarterly donating without losing their large annual gifts?
That's a great question. It's going to be a face-to-face conversation and letting them know that while you appreciate their donations and the significance of their investment in the organization, give them an option. Say, would you consider, breaking that gift up if that's the question, or would they consider um, another way of giving monthly so that those funds are coming in all, throughout the year. Your donors, again, want to be in relationship with you. So it's not like we're speaking to strangers. We shouldn't be, right? We should be able to have conversations around how capacity is used to create and to provide the greatest impact. That conversation is they're already invested, they're already giving, they already believe in the work that we do. So we're not really going to push them. We're going to invite them. We're going to give them an opportunity to see the value in breaking up their gifts or possibly, segmenting them differently so that those funds are in place at the right time to continue to do the work. Again, we're not pushing, we're giving them an opportunity. We're having that conversation. And you also want to grow other donors so that we're not just relying on them as well. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, great. So this next one is from Joe and for Lindsay, but also Jennifer, if you're interested, do you want to chime in too? So for Lindsay, do people feel tricked into recurring donations if it is set as the default?
Good question. And what I always say to that question is to be really transparent about the fact that you are asking for recurring donations. So if you are setting recurring as the default, really emphasize that on the form. So whether that's through your language or through a graphic that is emphasizing the monthly gift impact levels, be transparent about that, and also in the way that you're sharing it out in your social media and your email and your communications and your ask. um, be very upfront about saying your monthly donation of $10 a month will continue to support X, Y, and Z, so that it is not a surprise that it is set by default, but they're coming to that form with that in mind already.
Okay, great. All right, so next one here, I guess, is from Carol for Jennifer. At what point in the communication plan should we bring up recurring giving?
Okay, that's a great question. If a person is given a one-time gift, then I wouldn't bring it up at that point. But if you've invited them, encouraged them, motivated them, connected with them that they give a second time gift, then after that gift, they've made the second gift, you send them out the thank yous, you're letting them know what those gifts are doing and how they've been able to impact the lives of the people that you serve. Then in that next conversation, the third gift, going towards the third gift, is when I would start introducing the reoccurring element. Again, we want to get their investment in your organization, let them see and feel good about what they are supporting, and then give them that option of becoming a reoccurring gift to help continue to do the work that they too now are invested in and believe is important.
All right, great. Okay, so this next one comes from Carly for really for either of you, but we'll start with Jennifer. Also related to this, I just want to point out in the chat, don't forget about the communication plan. We have that PDF in the chat for you. So the question, it comes from Carly, and it is, how frequently should you send thank yous to monthly donors? It seems excessive to send one every single month. So do we send a thank you for their first gift and then annually? But wondering if that's not enough. What would you suggest?
That's a great question. Um, Thank yous can come in different forms, right? So you can say thank you just as a, direct thank you for the gift. You can also send a thank you from, the participants in your program. So let's say you have a program. I'm going to use the homeless as an example because that's the first one that came to mind. But you could also send a thank you on behalf of the person who represents all of the individuals that you serve. Thank you as a donor for supporting this organization. Because of you, our lives have changed and transformed. You could also send a thank you from, as a next point, from a board member saying, I, as a community partner with this organization, is growing in the interest and the scale and the capacity of this organization. Thank you for joining us for supporting this work. So there's lots of ways that you can say thank you, that it's not the same old repetitive way, but it gives your donor the sense, the knowledge that you care about them and that you care about their support and their commitment. You can never thank anyone enough. You can never thank them enough. Okay. So just using different ways of saying thank you, it's fresh for them and they keep those thank yous. They keep them, they remember them, and it motivates and encourages them that when they hear from you again, that they know you're a friend. They know that you care about them, that you care about how they are appreciated for their contribution, and you're letting them know that you appreciate them, and they never get tired of that.
Fantastic. All right, so the next question here, I'm actually going to combine two questions here for Lindsay's. They're very, very similar. So the first part of it is from Rachel. And the question is, with Giving Tuesday coming up, have you found that people that give during this time become recurring donors? And then this very similar one from Carol is Giving Tuesday a good time to have a recurring campaign?
Great question. And Giving Tuesday is right around the corner. So I'm pretty sure a lot of organizations out there are gearing up for that. Giving Tuesday in itself is a time that it's a great time for your organization to capture new donors. So a great way to expose your organization's mission via social media, via your communication channels, to really capture new donors. Now, those new donors may not necessarily have enough to commit to a recurring donation at that point. I don't think it's a bad idea to leave recurring as an option if someone, especially an existing donor or existing follower, is ready to commit at that level. But I think you should really expect Giving Tuesday to be that time where you are capturing new donors. Now, those new donors, that gives you a great opportunity from there to cultivate those new donors into potentially recurring givers moving forward. So studies show that after 4 months, one-time donors are likely to become into recurring donors. So in the time that follows, examine the donors that did give through Giving Tuesday, how many of those are new, and how you can use those thank yous, those cultivating messages to really try to push them into becoming a recurring donor at some point.
All right, great. Okay, so next one here is for Jennifer. This one comes from Amanda. If we typically don't ask for recurring gifts in an appeal, or I'll try that again. If we typically don't ask for recurring gifts in an appeal letter, do you suggest that we create an appeal that is specific to a recurring gift program?
You can do both. Okay, you can do both. And again, you're giving them an opportunity. That reoccurring opportunity is fantastic and it's really convenient for them as well. Now that they can just kind of put their contributions on autopilot. So if you don't have a reoccurring appeal letter, there's nothing wrong with presenting them with that option, right? Those that will. And those that will, think about it, it could be timing, it could be budget, it could be all kinds of things. But we don't want to not give them an opportunity to support a work that they truly would and could be an investor in, a contributor to on an ongoing basis. So the answer is if you don't have that appeal letter now, you can create one. And you could also make it as an option in something that you already have in place. So I don't want us to feel like there's a right or wrong way to build a relationship. Every person is an individual. Some will like that option, some may not, right? But that won't turn them off because you gave them an option from supporting your organization, as long as you are not only speaking about the money, but you're also speaking about the impact. So I want us to just kind of exhale for feeling like we're going to do anything wrong to people that, again, they give because they support, they believe, and they're connected to your organization. Giving them the option of how they can give is really a convenience for them. All right. So let's approach our donors as friends, as people that we want to build relationships with. And we know we have to have systems, we have to have strategy, but really think about the relationship. Some people will prefer it, some people may not. But you are giving them the evidence that their ongoing support is appreciated and is going into a right place.
Great, thank you. All right, so next one here is for Lindsay. This one comes from Eleanor. If you are launching a new program and you do not have impact results to share, how would you approach or message to become a recurring donor?
Good question. So anywhere where we can demonstrate impact is helpful, but if you don't necessarily have those breakdowns, or if your organization impact doesn't necessarily fit into those nice bite-sized chunks, $10 equals 10 meals or whatever it may be, think about, and I think Jennifer mentioned this earlier too during her part, think about the problem that you're solving as your nonprofit and what your ultimate mission is, and how you can incorporate that in the language that you're using to promote your recurring giving campaign. So focus on what their donation can do, even if it's a broader solution and a bigger impact. Figure out a way to really communicate that by saying your donation of $10 a month will allow us to continue these programs. So it may not fit into those bite-sized chunks, but really think about what are the solutions that your organization is providing, what is their donation ultimately going to help do, and what needs does your organization help with for your beneficiaries, and how you can be transparent and communicate that to your audience.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. And now we've come to the conclusion of our Q&A. Now, before we leave, if you're interested in discovering how MobileCause can help maximize your fundraising efforts, please fill out our post-webinar survey. So again, thank you for attending today. I hope you learned something. Best of luck in your year-end giving campaigns, and goodbye, everyone. Thank you.